Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to the Monday Night Raw review. And Raw tonight was from the Smoothie King Center in New Orleans. And gotta say, tonight's Raw was fucking terrible. This was a terrible fucking show tonight. Absolute garbage. I mean, how do we go from Raw last week being a good show, in my opinion? Wasn't the best Raw of all time. Wasn't a perfect show by any means. I mean, to me, it was a good Raw. How do we go from that to this week where we go back to the same old quality with Raw every single week, which is being absolute fucking terrible and shitty? Oh, I know why. It's because Vince was back. Vince was back tonight for Raw in the gorilla position, controlling the show. That's why. He wasn't even there last week because it was featured in an article that he wasn't there. He wasn't at Raw and he wasn't at SmackDown. So, and yes, you could tell that Vince was in control of this whole show tonight. And there was a report that was released during Raw. This is coming from Ringside News. It says apparently Raw was a disaster backstage. And according to Brad Shepard, he says his source described things as a disaster, and that a lot of last minute things were apparently going on. This is what Brad Shepard had to say. He said, a source in WWE told me earlier that the entire night is already a disaster, with a lot of last minute things going on. They said the XFL couldn't come fast enough. End quote. Well, you know what that proves? They possibly want Vince away from WWE so he could focus on the XFL, which I hope he does, which I hope he focuses more on the XFL and steps away from WWE, which there was actually news about that. There was news that broke last week that said Vince McMahon might possibly step down from his WWE role. It says here that he noted on that Vince, during his XFL meetings, he noted on going away from WWE for a short period of time. And he will only go away it will depend on how good the company's transition into the new television deals. You know, with NXT now going to USA and, SmackDown going to Fox. And Vince will only go away for a short period of time, depending on how SmackDown on Fox and NXT moves go. See if SmackDown and NXT do good. And if they do good, then Vince will step away from WWE for a short period of time for him to focus more on the XFL, which I hope to God that's true. I hope Vince, controls, goes and controls the XFL full time, steps away from WWE. Then we could possibly get, Raw and SmackDown, being, good, decent shows, because, he previously, hired Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff as the executive directors. Paul Heyman being the executive director for Monday Night Raw, Eric Bischoff, executive director for SmackDown. And says if he sees both these men are running things well on USA and Fox Sports, then Vince will indeed take time off from the WWE. And if that does go into play, if that does happen, it's going to get very interesting. It's going to get very interesting with Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff. You know, Raw and SmackDown being in new hands. So if that does indeed happen, like I said, it's going to be very interesting. But going back to the article about, you know, Raw being a disaster, well, you know, you can see, you know, if they say that that the entire night is already a disaster, a lot of last minute things going on. I wonder why. No wonder why this show was fucking terrible tonight. No fucking wonder why. Like I said, it's gotta be fucking Vince McMahon. So, but anyways, you know, almost 6 minutes into the Raw review, and I haven't even talked about this garbage ass show tonight. So let's jump right into it. Let's jump right into the review. So, Monday Night Raw opened up tonight with the boss, Sasha Banks, coming out. And of course, you have Michael Cole going, "It's boss time." I don't know what's worse. Michael Cole saying it's boss time, or when Roman comes out, him going, "Here comes the big dog." You tell me which one is worse. I think when Roman comes out and he says, "Here comes the big dog," that is fucking terrible. So, Sasha gets in the ring, she gets on the mic, and she said, everyone wants to know why and where she has been. She went on to say for 4 months, she's been gone out of sight, minding her own business. And she says all she heard was people talking about her. They would talk about how she threw a fit, which she did. She talked about how that she was crying on the floor at WrestleMania, which she stated that she did. And also how she took her ball and went home. And she ended up saying, "You're damn right, I did." And she's like, but not for reasons you might think. She says she was regulated to a tag team match that she didn't care about at WrestleMania, defending tag titles that meant even less. And she ended up saying, while Becky Lynch got to main event WrestleMania against Ronda Rousey. Well, of course, you know, she forgot to mention it was also Charlotte in that match. So she didn't even mention Charlotte. And she says she took her ball and went home and went on a couple amazing vacations with her paycheck that she earned at WrestleMania. It was her WrestleMania paycheck. And she says the paycheck, by the way, was not as big as Becky's. So Sasha said when she came back, she came to work. And she wanted to make a perfect moment. And she says, there was Natalya, poor old innocent Natalya. She was like, who came to save the day? Good old Becky Lynch. So Sasha says, you know, now, you know, she is the center of attention that she deserves to be for running the division, the women's division, since day one. And she says, now she deserves all this glory. And she then gets interrupted by Natalya. Natalya came out, and then they started brawling on the outside. Natalya ended up putting Sasha into the steps. You know, they start brawling. Referees come out, try to separate them. You know, the road agents come out, end up separating them. That's how pretty much the segment ended. But very meh segment, in my opinion. Then we had the Street Profits. You know, what they always do on Raw hyping up, what we're going to see tonight. They also hype up a 8-man tag team turmoil match to determine the number one contenders to face Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman for the Raw Tag Team Championships at Clash of Champions. So we had that. I mean, Street Profits, all they're doing is they're just the hype men for Raw every single week. Now that's what Vince is having them do. So then we went to the King of the Ring first round match. Ricochet versus Drew McIntyre. Of course, the King of the Ring is still continuing. So it was Ricochet versus Drew McIntyre, which this match was a good, entertaining match. Really liked it. The wrestling in this match was decent. Both these guys gave it all they got. Really enjoyed Ricochet here. Ricochet, in my opinion, is my pick to hopefully win the King of the Ring, this whole King of the Ring tournament. Because I think Ricochet deserves it. The crowd is really behind him. There's a lot of star power with Ricochet, when he's in the ring. So, but Ricochet ended up winning the match. He ended up hitting the recoil to Drew McIntyre. Then he went to the top. Ricochet won the match, hit the 630, pinned Drew McIntyre, and there you go. Ricochet is moving on in the tournament. But all in all, it was a good match. Really enjoyed the match. So then we saw Sarah Schreiber. She was interviewing Braun Strowman and Seth Rollins. Seth says it's quite a situation he's gotten himself into. That's what they do. So they'll be ready for all for all comers. Oh God, I can't even speak tonight. That's what this Raw was. That's what this Raw put me in. I can't even speak. That's how shitty this show was tonight. So Strowman ended up refusing to speak about the titles, the tag titles. And he then agrees, he asks Seth, who Seth will let step up and challenge him for the Universal Championship. So Steph starts talking about all the challengers, and he was like, Strowman must be challenging me for the title. So Strowman ends up playing it off, and he's just trying to make sure, that him and Seth are on the same page to defend the titles, the tag team titles, before, challenging him for the Universal Championship. And Braun Strowman ends up saying, I want to challenge you for the Universal Championship. So Seth Rollins ends up accepting the challenge. So at Clash of Champions, we're going to get the Raw Tag Team Championships on the line. And then it's going to be Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman going at it for the Universal Championship. And that's going to be the main event for Clash of Champions. So there you go. I even called it. I knew this was happening. I saw it coming. I knew it was going to be Strowman versus Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship at Clash of Champions. Saw it coming a mile away. And I even stated it. Yeah. Then we had Baron Corbin versus The Miz. King of the Ring, first round match. And before the match got underway, Miz was on the mic. He ended up cutting a promo. Miz ended up saying he's accomplished a lot. He accomplished a lot. And, he talks about, his accolades from, the titles that he won to Miz and Mrs., which he promoted because tomorrow's the season finale of Miz and Mrs. after SmackDown 10 o'clock. And he says people always ask him what he wants. And he says the answer is simple. He wants it all. He says we're all on the quest with him to step on the WWE's Iron Throne as King Awesome. That's how he ended his promo. Then we had Baron Corbin. And when Baron Corbin came out, I actually fucking yawned because the guy is fucking boring. And this match itself, it was boring. This match was shit, in my opinion. And to make it even worse, Baron Corbin ended up winning. He hit the end of the days on The Miz. And let me point out, The Miz actually hit the Skull Crusher finale. And it was actually it was terrible. It was terrible how the way he hit that Skull Crusher finale on Corbin. Because Corbin, in my opinion, botched it because it's supposed to go down like that. And he had his head up. And I was like, all right, watch Corbin kick out of that now. And he did. So, Baron Corbin got the win. End of days on The Miz. Absolutely fucking awful. Then, post-match, Corbin got on the mic, and I was about ready to reach for my remote and mute the TV. So Corbin goes to the throne, the King of the Ring throne, puts on the crown, takes a seat in the scepter. He ends up saying, when he came to this building tonight, he was asked about a poll that said we wanted anybody but him to win the King of the Ring. I guess we all want to see that. But, we can't do that, not until next week. If he wins the match next week, then we can start worrying. And he says the good thing is he's never cared what we think anyway. And he's here because of himself and only himself. He says it's going to be all hail King Corbin. My God, if that fucking happens. If that fucking happens. Oh, man. Absolute garbage. Garbage from Corbin. Who want to see Corbin as King of the Ring? Absolutely nobody. If that happens, everybody is going to fucking shit on this like crazy. Then we had the OC. They were being interviewed. They were complaining about having to go through 7 other teams to get a chance to win the tag team championships back. How they have to go through this tag team turmoil. So that was basically that. Short interview with the OC. Then we went to Bayley versus Nikki Cross, which was absolutely terrible. I'm a fan of both of these women, but the match itself, it was so fucking boring. Bayley ended up winning, flying elbow to Nikki Cross. Bayley wins. Moving on. Then we had Braun Strowman. He was kind of promo about he and Seth Rollins are going to defend the Raw Tag Team Championships. And that Strowman is going to win the Universal Championship at Clash of Champions. And he says tonight he's going to possibly win the United States Championship from AJ Styles. Yes, and we had another rematch, AJ Styles versus Braun Strowman tonight, which was the main event. That was that. That was the promo from Strowman. Then we went to the 8-man tag team Turmoil. The winner of this match, the team who won this match, will get to face Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman at Clash of Champions for the Raw Tag Team Championships. So we had the War Raiders, the B Team, the OC, Robert Roode, and Dolph Ziggler thrown tag team together. You know, WWE just thrown them out there as a tag team. We had the Lucha House Party, the Revival, Zack Ryder, Kurt Hawkins, Heavy Machinery. That was all the tag teams there. You know, the OC too. And this whole 8-man tag team turmoil, this whole match proved that the tag team division is dead. This whole tag team division is fucking dead. And this match proved it right there. So first we had the War Raiders. They ended up eliminating the B Team that quick. They ended up in the Viking Experience. Then it was them versus Gallows and Anderson. They both got eliminated because they ended up brawling. The referee ended up calling for the match. So they both ended up getting eliminated. And so new competitors ended up coming in. So then we had Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler. I don't know why WWE paired them up. They were just thrown together as a tag team. So they took on the Lucha House Party. Roode and Dolph eliminated the Lucha House Party. Then they went to fight the Revival. Ended up eliminating the Revival. Roode and Dolph, they then took on Kurt Hawkins, Zack Ryder. Right from there, you know who eliminated Hawkins and Ryder. Come on. Then we had them, Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler versus Heavy Machinery, which I thought Heavy Machinery would have had a chance to defeat Roode and Ziggler, because considering everybody loves Heavy Machinery, everybody is behind them. But sadly, Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler, they won the match. They defeated Heavy Machinery. So now it's going to be Roode and Ziggler versus Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman at Clash of Champions for the tag team titles. Can you say Seth and Strowman are now retaining the tag team titles at Clash of Champions? And Roode and Ziggler, like I said, they were just thrown as a tag team. And like I said, this whole tag team turmoil proves right there that the tag team division is dead. It was just, well, what more can I say about this? This whole tag team turmoil was a waste of time. Then we had Sasha Banks versus Natalya. Absolutely meh match. Sasha Banks, of course, got the win. Banks' statement on Natalya. Natalya ended up tapping. Of course, you knew WWE wasn't going to let Sasha lose her match. Her first match since she came back. I mean, that would have been embarrassing for Sasha. So, of course, Sasha had to get the win. Post-match, you had Sasha lock in the bank statement on Natalya again. She had this sick smile on her face while she had Natalya in the bank statement. So the referees had to come in and break the bank statement off of Natalya from Sasha. But it was a quick match. Very meh also. Then we had AJ Styles. He was being interviewed. Styles talks about how nobody thinks he can beat Strowman without his buddies, Gallows and Anderson. Styles says he's not intimidated by Strowman. So that was basically that with Styles. I mean, going into the match, you knew something was going to happen in the main event, which I'll get into because I even knew it was going to happen. Then we got Cedric Alexander versus Cesaro. This was a good match. This was a very entertaining match. The wrestling here, I liked from both of them. Cedric, very good entertainer in the ring. Has a lot of charisma. Has a lot of charisma in the ring. Cesaro, he's another one who I also enjoy. I mean, both guys are great in the ring together. Cedric ended up getting the win. Lumbar check to Cesaro, and it was a good one from Cedric. All in all, it was a good match between the both of them. It was very entertaining. Then we had also they ended up playing, of course, the Roman video package. Same shit with the scaffolding falling on Roman, and all that shit. I mean, how many times have we seen it? How many times have we seen this video package with the scaffolding falling on Roman? The whole who done it to Roman thing, and he just add in the the whole shitty ending from SmackDown last week with this guy looking like Eric Rowan. And yes, WWE has changed Rowan's name back to Eric Rowan, so that's what I'm going to call him from now on, Eric Rowan. So then you had a video package, of the whole Firefly Funhouse, which that was interesting to see. I missed seeing all that, the Firefly Funhouse. We got that tonight. Now we move on to the main event. And I know these reviews go, like 40 minutes, over 40 minutes. My reviews go up over 40 minutes for Raw. This is going to be a short, like a under 40-minute review. Because, nothing for me to explain on the show tonight. I mean, two good matches. The match with Ricochet and Drew McIntyre and Cedric Alexander versus Cesaro. Everything else, garbage. Get into the main event. Styles versus Strowman. Match started. Strowman ended up knocking AJ out of the ring. Shoulder tackle twice from Strowman. The same shit that Strowman does. Then you had, towards the end of the match, the referee gets knocked out. Gallows and Anderson come out, start taking down Strowman. And, the match ended in a disqualification because Strowman had the chair in his hand, which the referee was like, "Oh, I heard the chair shot." And then he ended up calling for the bell, which Strowman didn't even use the chair. So the match ended in a disqualification. Post-match, Braun Strowman ended up taking out the OC. Ended up taking out Styles, Gallows, and Anderson. He hit AJ Styles with the chair twice to Styles' back. He ends up slamming Gallows and also ends up slamming Anderson. And, and Strowman ended up hitting Styles with the running power slam. And that's how Raw ended tonight. But like I said, absolute fucking terrible Raw it was tonight. Garbage. Shitty ass show. How you come off of a good Raw last week and we revert back to the same old shit. Same old shit with Raw. With it being fucking terrible. Absolute fucking garbage. So anyways, that's it for my review of tonight's Monday Night Raw. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this review. And definitely give this video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. And until next video, which SmackDown review, I don't know when I will review it. Because, I got, a long work shift this week. So I don't know when I'm going to do the SmackDown review. So who knows when I'll do it, when I'll review it. But we'll have to see. It's going to be a long week, at my job. So see if I can make some time to do the SmackDown review. So anyways, thank you all for watching. Definitely give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. Till next video, I'll see you all later.